The premium tablet market is a difficult place to compete in for most companies. The Galaxy Tab S4 is awesome for an Android tablet, but it costs just as much as a Windows laptop. The iPad Pro is beautiful and powerful, but it costs way more than the laptop for less power and has the severe limitations of iOS. And the Google Pixel Slate is not a very viable option at this time. With that considered, there is one device that does everything these tablets attempt to accomplish. Introducing the Surface Pro 6, the best in its class. This video was made possible with the help of PureVPN. This is a VPN service that will keep your browsing data secured and away from your service provider or other snoopers. Make your browsing safer today with the affiliate link in the description. The exterior design consists of magnesium and glass. This tablet is very thin and very strong. Despite it being magnesium, there is hardly any sort of flex on this device, and I can say confidently that it can handle quite a bit. However, it's not as strong as just using aluminum, so it is more prone to scratches. Overall, it's pretty solid. On the front, we've got the 12.3-inch 2736 by 1824 resolution display and a 5-megapixel front-facing camera that supports a resolution of up to 1080p and has Windows Hello support. On the back consists of the incredible kickstand, a Microsoft logo, and an 8-megapixel rear-facing camera that supports a resolution of up to 1080p. On the right, we've got a mini display port, a USB 3.0 port, and the proprietary charging connector, which is also magnetic. On the left, we've got a lonely headphone jack. On the bottom, we've got the contact pins for the Surface keyboard. Underneath the kickstand itself, there is a micro SD card entry. This tablet features a 2736 by 1824 resolution display. So this odd resolution comes from the 3:2 aspect ratio of this device versus the more typical 16:9 aspect ratio of most tablets and laptops. However, this display is certainly more ideal for productivity and multitasking. Editing documents and having another tab on the side is much more comfortable with this blockier aspect ratio. Content consumption is very enjoyable on this display, thanks to the gorgeous colors the screen can reproduce, though you will have to deal with black bars on both the top and bottom of this display. They don't bother me very much, so I'm still very satisfied with the screen. The speakers are front firing and get reasonably loud. There isn't a ton of bass in these, and they do certainly distort a little at max volumes. The kickstand is pretty incredible. It is very sturdy and will keep the Surface propped up all of the time. You can flatten it almost completely if you so desire, giving you a ton of viewing angles. I love it, and it is even strong enough to withstand drawing on it. I'm happy with it, but it is not optimal on laps, obviously. In order to get the full Surface experience, we have to invest in what is a separate keyboard cover and what is now a separate stylus. But let's talk about the keyboard attachment for now. And it will run you about $130, but performs very well. This keyboard, despite it being so thin, has a ton of travel per key and is very comfortable to use for long typing sessions. It also has a backlight, so you can still use it at night, and it does not use Bluetooth, so it hardly utilizes any energy. The Alcantara is also very nice for resting your hands while typing. I love it. The trackpad is also pretty amazing. It's a glass trackpad that supports Windows Precision drivers, so gestures are as good as they can be within Windows 10. Tracking is very smooth, and the texture is incredible, but it is a tad small for me. However, I am sure that this trackpad is as big as Microsoft was able to make it, so it's alright. I still like it quite a lot. Another accessory I neglected to mention was the Surface Mouse. It is actually a rather comfortable little gadget to use for editing, and it feels pretty solid. Unfortunately, it's not rechargeable and will need new batteries once these run out. Unfortunately, there is that caveat, but you can't ask for too much when it only costs $35. The Surface Pen or Stylus will run you another $100, but this is also essential to getting the full experience with this device. This pen is one of the best ones out there, and it is very useful for pretending that your Surface is a notebook, and especially for drawing. More on that later. It's also magnetic, so it'll always stay attached to the Surface when you're not using it. Sadly, it requires even more batteries when it runs out rather than just being rechargeable. The Surface Pro 6 has two cameras, one in the front and another in the back. Both, when it comes to video, max out at 1080p at 30 frames per second. This isn't a big deal, however, because the front-facing camera is quite amazing for a tablet. It is very sharp and colorful, so this webcam is ideal for web conferencing. The rear camera isn't all that great though, but it probably won't matter to most people. This is the base model of the Surface Pro 6, which features an Intel Core i5-8250U, which is a quad-core CPU, running at 1.6 GHz, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 128 gig SSD. And performance in gaming with these specs in mind was decent. Despite not having dedicated graphics, the fact that the Surface has a quad-core CPU this time around makes it much more capable. In Dragon Ball FighterZ, we were able to play at roughly 30 frames per second in 1080p with low settings, though fighting does feel slower on this machine. I'd say that it is just fine for casual play. It runs decently and I wouldn't mind playing a few matches on it. Performance in Photoshop is unsurprisingly good. I can work on separate layers with ease and moving between projects is also smooth. I don't work with anything too complicated in Photoshop, so of course it's not a big deal. For simple Photoshop work, and even more complicated works such as heavily layered drawings can be worked with on this machine quite well. In Adobe Premiere, this tablet still isn't ideal considering the amounts of stuttering that you get when scrubbing through the timeline, but 1080p video played back at half resolution with stabilizers and color correction layers still plays smoothly. The quad-core CPU makes working in Premiere a lot less of a headache than it was in dual-core processors of last year. This is still a big improvement. And now, this is where we go more in depth in regards to the Surface Stylus. I primarily use Sketchbook Pro when I draw digitally, so all of my drawings tested were done here. Holding the stylus is pretty comfortable thanks to its dome-shaped, and well, it does look like a normal pencil with a tip and an eraser. So does it behave like a normal pencil as well? Almost. This stylus is capable of a lot, as it detects different levels of pressure with ease and it knows when I'm switching between the writing tip and the eraser tip. Palm rejection isn't perfect in this segment, but it has been significantly reduced from previous models. I feel very comfortable drawing with this stylus because it glides so smoothly across the screen, making it very easy to work with cross-hatching or very speedy drawings, but it is also great for more detailed, more thought-out drawings. I'd say that it is better than the Apple Pencil and the S Pen on the Tab S3 and S4. This is the best stylus on any tablet, excluding Wacom's line of products of course. I'm very satisfied with its performance. I love the Surface Pro 6 because it is so light yet sturdy, so beautifully designed yet so compact, reasonably powerful without giving up on its incredible battery life. This device will easily last you all day, and even if for some reason it doesn't, the charger is very easy to take with you because it is so small. This tablet can handle most kinds of software at a reasonable workload because it does have a quad-core CPU, but it falters somewhat since it's missing dedicated graphics. However, for taking quick notes, working with documents, light content creation, and even casual gaming are handled very nicely through this device while doing it all very stylishly. Sadly, there are still some concerns I have with this device that should be addressed. The micro SD card slot should have been a full-size SD card slot. That way, you can use bigger SD cards, but if you only had a micro SD card, then you can at least adapt it to a larger size and it would work. This decision limits the user to just using the smaller cards. Another detail that limits the user is the use of a mini DisplayPort versus a Thunderbolt 3 port. It's 2018 and this device is not cheap, so at least have the audacity to include the port that every modern laptop has. Because remember that while this is a tablet, it's running full Windows, and it's meant to be used as a Windows laptop with a tablet form factor. Give us that missing port to fully modernize this device. That is honestly everything I've got to say about this device, without asking for dedicated graphics, which probably is impossible on a tablet this size just yet. This device was tons of fun to work on, and I'm very glad I got the opportunity to test out such an incredible device. Needless to say, I love the Surface Pro 6, and I feel like Microsoft has close to nailed it this time around. Everything from its beautiful design to versatility in different software, or running full Windows is what makes this device so special. If you were looking into purchasing some of the other flagship tablets from Apple, Samsung, or Google, but want the best you can get your hands on, I would ignore the rest of the competition and spring for the Surface Pro. But keep in mind that you will have to find the rest of the accessories in order to complete your experience. But do you know what else you could use to complete your experience? PureVPN. They offer safe browsing across any web browser while keeping your browsing data away from your internet service provider or any other snoopers. They offer unlimited data transfer from streaming or downloading. They have more than 2,000 servers in over 140 countries and work through desktop and mobile apps. You can also stay active on 5 different devices at once from the same account with 24/7 tech support. To get yourself signed up, click on the affiliate link in the description. For more content, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and to stay updated when a new video comes out, make sure to click on that bell and enable notifications. For links to everything featured in this video, expect to find those in the description as well as links for what to watch next. This has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching and I'll be seeing you all later. Enjoy.